Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fabio Palvelli. So today we're gonna pick it up from where we left off last time. In my latest video we talked about positioning. I made a brief introduction video about the idea of positioning, how a creative office, a design office, or a freelancer artist can position themselves in the market as opposed to their competition. Now this video is of course for you if you are a business owner or if you are a freelancer, but it's also for you if you work for a creative company and you take care of things such as marketing, client acquisition, and you're trying to help your company gaining an edge over the competition. Today we're going to start our journey into the idea of business strategy for the creative enterprise. And we're going to do that by talking about the creation of a positioning statement, what it is and what it can do for us, and how it can help us getting started with a strategy. I'm trying to simplify this as much as possible because there are many different definitions on the internet, as well as many different opposing opinions as of how a positioning statement should be written. I have read myself a couple of books on the topic whilst writing the script for this video, and I can guarantee you it can be very confusing, especially for those who are approaching this topic for the very first time. The positioning statement, it's a written description of how your product, being a service or a material product or a brand maybe, it doesn't matter, of how these distinguish themselves from the competition. A good positioning statement needs to contain a simple and clear message. What do you do and who do you do it for? And at the same time, it should communicate what it is that makes you and your product or service so unique. Some companies adopt lengthy positioning statements. I believe that a positioning statement should be relatively short because brevity requires clarity, and so a short but clear message can be a lot more powerful and effective, especially nowadays with all this noise and all the people that are trying to compete with each other doing basically the same thing. The positioning statement is different from a mission statement. The positioning statement is crafted mainly for your clients to get clarity about your intentions, about your products, about your services. The mission statement, on the other hand, is crafted for yourself and for your company to create values and a culture for you to live and work by. For you and your team, of course. That is a big difference. With that said, you can have one statement serving the purpose of both the mission and the positioning statement. Reason why in the other video I might have used the mission statement as an example. The positioning statement should be the driver for any element of strategy that you decide to adopt for your business. With my clients, usually we try to simplify this process by writing a one-liner kind of statement, especially because the design and service industry is a bit different from other industries. Now, let me give you a generic example of a positioning statement. I used to work as a cook in a restaurant in Kensington, London, and our positioning statement was something like, "We make great food for great moments for great people," or something like this. Another one that we used to use, which was also more of our mission statement as well, was, "We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen." Now this statement might sound very familiar to you in the food industry. This is an overly used statement. I think the Ritz-Carlton is the one that created this statement. But anyway, now since we were located in a fairly rich suburb of London, we used to cook wearing elegant clothes. I had a bow tie and a beautiful puffy chef hat, and we used to cater high-end, elegant private parties. We used to cook brunch on Saturday and Sunday morning. At that time, brunch was still like something that you would not find in all the restaurants. We used to do a lot of things that were connected to the values that we had. Now, bear in mind that this was pre-social media era. Nowadays, things are a lot different, and in order to fight the competition, you would have to use different elements of strategy, but it doesn't matter. A more specific example about a design studio that I've heard some time ago is, "Your design needs are our problem to solve." Now, it's a very generic statement for which I would have some criticism, but nevertheless, Steve Jobs and Apple had a very powerful positioning statement back in the days to make a contribution to the world by making tools for the mind that advance humankind. This is a really powerful statement. Now, there are 4 elements that are commonly considered when writing a positioning statement. The first element is the target market. Now, this is a very important thing to understand. Usually when I talk to my clients about finding our target market, the answer is that they want to target everybody. And by doing this, they're basically targeting nobody. In the very beginning of starting a strategy, it's better to focus your attention on one target alone, because when we do something good for that target market, we can actually expand later on, or other markets might notice the work that we're doing in that target market and they can come to us to ask for the same type of service. So it's very important that you focus. You gotta be like a sniper. You gotta have one target only and you gotta focus on that target alone. The second one is the category. Surprisingly, even when defining the category, my clients, they start with archivists and then they want to expand into marketing, they want to expand into product design, they want to expand into jewelry, they want to expand into automotive, and it's good, you can do that, but this should come naturally after you define your starting category. It's better to focus, just like when choosing the target market. The third element is the so-called POD, point of difference. You basically need to be able to define what makes you so unique in comparison to the competition. The fourth one is the benefit. Now, this is a very important thing to understand. The benefit needs to be defined because for a company to make the shift, it's not enough to say, okay, these guys are better than the others. The company needs to understand the benefit that you can provide, and this benefit needs to be something that you can prove to your client. When a client works with a designer or with an artist, there are some mechanisms in place that allow for that collaboration to work kind of smooth. So for a client to switch and say, I don't work with those designers anymore, but I work with you, I don't only have to be able to provide a point of difference, I need to be able to provide a benefit, because for the client to go through the painful process of changing a service, there must be a benefit for them to say, okay, it's worth to start working with these guys instead. I really hope that this is clear. Once you give yourself these 4 answers, you can start crafting a statement basing yourself on the answers that you get. And in order to double check whether or not this statement might be functional and might be useful, there are a couple of things that you can ask yourself. Is the statement powerful and distinctive enough? And even more important, can you deliver on the promise that you made with your statement? Are the things that you're promising actually makeable? Can you deliver on them? A couple of more remarks about writing a positioning statement. The first remark is that you need to have a certain volume of sales that supports and motivates your actions as a company. You do not write a positioning statement at the beginning of launching a business because you need to wait to generate some business first. Because otherwise you should be putting constraints on your strategic actions before getting any traction. And this is very important to understand. Also, if you are a freelancer, having a mission statement is a bit of an overkill that might not look as good as you might think. You should instead focus on great customer care and on providing real value to your clients. You can have a mission statement as a visualization tool to understand for you where you want to go with your business, but that is maybe a topic for another video. The second remark that I want to make is that it is okay to start working on a strategy before making any positioning statement. Sometimes it's a good thing to try out many things and see what sticks before limiting yourself. I always say that the difference between those who do and those who don't do is those who do. In other words, actions will always produce more results than planning alone. So if you are a bit uncertain about your positioning statement, keep it as a draft, it doesn't matter. Think instead of the things that you can do to become unique. Implement those things and try to reverse engineer the process. Now, before we say goodbye, there is one more thing. It would be very easy to copy the positioning statement of another company or of another designer that you might have heard in a YouTube video or that you might have read on a book. But why would you? The idea to go down the strategy path is for you to define your uniqueness, because uniqueness is the major key to have a competitive advantage over the competition. That goes, of course, without saying. You are an artist, you are a designer, you are a creative person. Act like it and try to separate yourself from all the rest. And that's it. My name is Fabio Palvelli, thanks a lot for watching, see you guys next time.